Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Jeremy Su, and today I'm going to do an unboxing of a particular clothing item that I've been waiting for quite a while now. And that's because today it has finally arrived in the mail. But first, let's have a little bit of a story time. Alright, let's go all the way back to 2017. That was the year when I was first introduced to the world of streetwear, the world of fashion, and that's when you could say that I was first introduced into this quote-unquote game. Now I call it a game because back then, we were young, we were impressionable, we were kind of dumb, so what we would do is compete with each other on some kind of level about who had the hotter outfit, who had the more expensive bag, who had the more hype sneaker. Things like that were pretty commonplace back then. Now, I still do believe that it is commonplace among a certain age group, a certain demographic in today's world, and I feel that it's always going to be the case because, every person is going to experience that game at some point in their life, and it's usually going to be when they're a little younger, they're a little bit, more immature. I was like that too, we all were. But eventually, I feel that most people grow out of it, and they grow out of it for quite a few reasons. One of the reasons is the insanely high price tag. A lot of these items are not inherently expensive if you get them from the retailer, but the problem is that there are people who know the demand is really great, so they buy these items for retail price, they go onto the secondary market, they resell these items for much higher profit margins, which is quite unethical, but at the same time, it is a proper, legitimate business model, and there are quite a number of people who have made a fortune off of reselling. So whether to condemn it, whether to approve it, that's completely up to you. But whatever it is, the effect is that it does increase the price dramatically of any of these sought after items that a consumer like, kids like myself in the past would have wanted. Another reason is simply the lack of time. A lot of these brands, say Supreme, say Bape, they drop every single week. They release new items every single week. They know that, keeping themselves relevant and having a release every single week is going to keep them on the front of people's minds. People are going to be constantly thinking about them. People are going to want to buy their products more. They're going to get a little bit more consistent exposure to the people. So, of course, it makes sense that they do that, weekly, bi-weekly, up to them. But the problem with that is that if you want an item, it's gonna be pretty hard to get. A lot of people are working, a lot of people go to school. It's, hard to just find time to go in queue, to go to the store. If you even manage to enter the store for some of these really sought after items, it's just crazy. And a lot of times people don't really have that extra time on their hands. So because of that, eventually it makes sense to just find clothing alternatives from somewhere that is more accessible all year round. The last reason is just simply because it doesn't look good anymore. When you are young, you think that the logos make the outfit, the price tag makes the outfit, the number of brands you have on you makes the outfit. But as you mature, you realize that it's about how it fits. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about having the right outfit, the right kind of presentation for a certain kind of meeting, for a certain event. It's all about knowing the circumstances that you're in and just playing according to those rules. So after a while, I feel a lot of people just start to gravitate out of, this game, and they start to turn towards a more minimalistic and timeless style, which is going to be reliable and that they can, fall back on every single day. This has many pros and cons, and the pros are endless and so are the cons, but there is one particular con that I want to mention, and that is brands realize that since so many people are gravitating towards minimalistic style, maybe we could charge more for that. I'm sure you've noticed in recent years that overpriced clothing staples are becoming more and more of a common occurrence. You're seeing a few $100s for a simple white t-shirt. You're seeing $1,000 flannel. You're seeing $2,000 denim jeans. Now, what's the actual why is that so? It's simply because, brands have figured out that a lot of us are willing to pay more for less. See, that's not very good for people who want to buy into the minimalistic aesthetic. And one of the leading brands in this minimal, clean, layered aesthetic, not focusing on the logos, but instead each garment, is Fear of God. Fear of God has pioneered this certain aesthetic, a lot of layers, a lot of very flowy kind of look, slightly oversized on top, super tapered at the bottom. It has come a really long way from the time the brand was first conceived, but one thing the brand has always done is kept to its really, really clean aesthetic. Now, there's no doubt about it that Fear of God is extremely overpriced, but its aesthetic has kind of rubbed off on the market, and there are other brands who now make clothing that looks similar to Fear of God, but for a much more affordable price. You have brands like John Elliott, you have brands like Minimal, you have brands like Represent Clothing from the United Kingdom. There are now countless brands who offer the Fear of God aesthetic for a much lower price. So that begs the question, does it even make sense to buy Fear of God in today's world anymore? So what I really wanted to check out making this purchase is seeing if it still makes sense to pay much more for much less, or if we can just pay much less for much less and still have the same quality and comparable looks. That's essentially it. So here we have the Fear of God item that I bought. You're probably wondering why I chose to buy this item at this particular point in time, and that's because I didn't actually get it for, the full price. This item is originally $800 US, so it's about 1,000 Singapore dollars, slightly more in fact. I got it for around 400 USD. It was half price because of a certain sale that they were doing, 50% off the entire store, off your entire order. This is not sponsored, by the way. I wish it was, but yeah, we're just gonna check it out and see, if it's still worth getting really, really expensive essentials, wardrobe staples like hoodies, t-shirts, and just, regular pants for a really expensive price. Okay, so here we have it. Here is the receipt that says Fear of God right at the top. I'm not going to show you anything else because it has my details. I'm not going to show you that. All right, what we have here is the Fear of God hoodie. So this is what I got. It's my first mainline Fear of God piece. I bought it because I've been wearing a lot of hoodies at home. As you now know, all of us are stuck at home, so it's a great cozy piece to just, enjoy the AC at home with, I suppose. That's really what I've been doing. I've been blasting the air conditioner super cold just so that I can layer and take outfit pictures at home because, that's what we do. Here is the hoodie. So I'm gonna give you guys like first impressions and everything. First of all, packaging wise, it's really, really simple. It's not fancy. It doesn't come in any like Ziploc bag or anything. It's just a normal tape, I guess. It's just your standard bag. It's a very thin plastic, I guess. And here is the Fear of God hoodie. So first things first, I see right off that we have the print. The print is actually embroidered on, and it's a really high quality embroidering. You can tell that there's like a print, not really a print, like there's a design, a certain kind of like mesh design to how the logo is sewn on. So that's really cool. The heatheredness is really nice, and the hoodie actually feels really good. It's super smooth all around, and it feels woven very tightly, so it doesn't feel like loose or thin. For sure, it feels really high quality. Right off the bat, I can say that this is much higher quality than any item I've ever felt. It actually feels really, really good. And this isn't like placebo or anything. It's actually physically thicker, like it holds its shape really well, and there's this elasticity to it. It's really solid actually. First of all, I like the cuffs. The cuffs are really tight. It feels like, I like clothing that hugs really well because it just feels like it's high quality, something that won't get stretched out too easily. So this is the Fear of God hoodie. It's a very basic hoodie. On top here it says Fear of God, which is nice. For sure, it's really, really tight. So basically, you can see that all the seams, it's basically like covered up, and it's covered up really well. It's like double or triple layer. Like, I have no idea how to do it. It's sewn on super tight. This hoodie feels tight. Like the entire knitting feels really compact, if that makes any sense. It feels like you couldn't really like just pull it apart. Whole thing feels like it's double layered or something, which is cool. Executed really, really, really well. I'm super impressed by this. And one interesting thing is that inside here, it's this material. So it's here. So at the bottom of the hoodie, when you open it from the bottom, it's this material where we saw just now. It's this like internal weave. But for the hood, on this part of the hood, they actually covered it up, so the outside is the same as the inside stitching. So basically, you're not gonna feel the same slightly rough feel on like the back of your head and everything. So the quality is definitely insane. I think that's really all I have to say about Hoodie. I'm gonna try it on now and just let you guys know what I think of it. So this is the Hoodie. It actually feels really good. Now for sizing, this is slightly oversized, so for Fear of God stuff I normally wear an S. I actually downsized this. I went according to measurements, so this is like an XS. It's extra small. You can see that it's just slightly oversized. If I were to get my normal size, this shoulder seam would be like here, I suppose, which would be really like weird. It definitely feels very good. How is this different from something that is cheaper? How is this different from, the Represent hoodies that I have, which, kind of follow the same look? I would say it's just that. They can replicate the look, but they can't replicate the quality. Now, is this thing, with all costs, considered, this thing is about, I'd say maybe 500 plus, with shipping and everything. It was like 400 with shipping, with a bit of tax, with a lot of other nonsense. It was about 500 plus. Is that worth it for a hoodie? Truthfully, no. It's never gonna be worth it for a hoodie. I believe there are great hoodies for 50 bucks, for 60 bucks. So at the end of the day, the question is, does it make sense to pay more for less? Of course it's a no, but I like this hoodie and I think it was worth it. If you like it and you can, just get it. If you don't want to, then don't. No one's forcing you. It's totally fine. At the end of the day, buy what you like, have fun, enjoy your new purchases. There are a lot of good sales going on right now online because a lot of stores, especially online retailers, are trying to just clear the stock, trying to make back some of the profit that they need because, given the whole situation in the world. So really, yeah, maybe you're thinking about buying something that's a little bit more expensive than usual, but it's on sale or something and you really like it. I would say, yeah, 100% is worth it. This hoodie for $400 or $500 is much better than $1,000. And the most important part is it is actually a good product. And that's it. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.